Let's be honest for a moment. If you're here, your dog's barking is driving you crazy. It might be late at night. It might be every time someone walks past your house. Or maybe the barking starts the second you leave the room. And the worst part? You've probably tried yelling. You've tried telling them to stop. Maybe you've even tried ignoring it. And nothing worked. Here's the truth most dog owners don't hear. Your dog is not barking to be annoying. Your dog is barking because it works. Barking is communication. It's your dog's way of saying something, anything, and getting a response. And every time barking gets attention, relief, or control of a situation, it becomes stronger. So before we stop nuisance barking instantly, we need to understand why it happens. Most excessive barking falls into 5 categories. First, alert barking. This is when your dog hears a noise, sees a stranger, or notices movement outside. It's instinctive. But when alert barking doesn't stop, it turns into nuisance barking. Second, demand barking. This happens when your dog wants something, food, play, or attention. If barking ever made you give in, your dog learned one important lesson. Barking works. Third, boredom barking. Dogs that lack exercise or mental stimulation often bark just to release energy. This is incredibly common, especially in intelligent or working breeds. Fourth, fear or anxiety barking. This includes separation anxiety, fear of strangers, or loud noises. The barking isn't bad behavior, it's panic. And finally, habit barking. Sometimes the emotion is gone, but the barking remains. It's automatic, like a bad habit that never got interrupted. Now here's something critical you must know. Yelling does not stop barking. To your dog, yelling sounds like barking. From their perspective, you just joined in. That's why shouting "stop" often makes things worse, not better. And punishment doesn't solve the problem either. It only creates fear, confusion, and stress, which leads to even more barking. So what actually works? Let me show you the fastest way to stop barking in the moment. Step 1, stay calm. Dogs feel energy. If you're frustrated, barking escalates. Take one breath. Step 2, interrupt the barking neutrally, not yelling, not threatening. Use a short, calm sound like ah or tss, or a gentle clap or finger snap. This breaks your dog's focus without creating fear. Now step 3, and this part is crucial, redirect immediately. The second your dog stops barking, even for half a second, you redirect. Ask for a sit, ask for a down, toss a treat on the ground, hand them a chew toy. You are teaching one powerful lesson. Silence gets rewards. Barking does not. This works instantly because barking is emotional, but commands are mental. A dog cannot bark and calmly think at the same time. With repetition, your dog learns, when I bark, I'm interrupted. When I'm calm, I get what I want. That's how instant control turns into long-term change. Now that you understand why your dog barks and how to interrupt it instantly, let's talk about the situations where nuisance barking happens the most. Because most barking doesn't come out of nowhere. It has triggers. And once you control the trigger, you control the barking. In this part, I'll show you exactly how to handle the 3 biggest barking triggers: the door, outside noises, and strangers. Let's start with the most common one: barking at the door. The doorbell rings. Your dog loses their mind, jumping, spinning, barking nonstop. Here's the mistake most people make. They try to stop barking after the dog is already out of control. That's too late. You stop door barking before the door opens. Here's how. Every day, practice this when no one is actually there. Walk to the door, touch the handle, knock lightly, or play a doorbell sound on your phone. The moment your dog starts to bark, interrupt calmly with ah. The instant there's silence, ask for a sit. When your dog sits quietly, reward. Repeat this. This teaches your dog that the door is no longer an emergency. Calm behavior opens doors. Barking makes nothing happen. Now let's talk about outside noises. Cars, people walking by, other dogs barking.
Your dog hears a sound and reacts automatically. To stop this, you must change your dog's emotional response. The moment your dog hears a noise and before the barking begins, say their name calmly. If they look at you, reward immediately. If they bark first, interrupt gently, then redirect. Over time, the noise becomes a cue to check in with you instead of barking. Now here's something extremely important. Do not let barking continue at windows or fences. This is called rehearsal. Every time your dog practices barking, it becomes more ingrained. Limit visual triggers. Close curtains. Use frosted window film. Move furniture away from windows. Management is not failure. It is training support. Next, let's talk about barking at strangers or guests. This barking is often fear-based, not aggression, so yelling only confirms the fear. Instead, create distance. Put your dog on a leash when guests arrive. Stand calmly, no tension. The moment your dog is quiet, even briefly, reward. If barking starts again, turn away slightly and wait. You're teaching your dog calm behavior brings safety and rewards. Now let's talk about energy. Many barking problems disappear when energy is drained the right way. Not just physical exercise, mental exercise. Before times when barking usually happens, do one of these. Short obedience session, nose work games, puzzle feeders, training walks. A tired mind is a quiet mind. And here's something most people miss. Consistency beats intensity. You don't need long sessions. You need short, daily repetitions. 1 minute before opening the door, 2 minutes near the window, 30 seconds after a noise. That's how barking changes fast. Now, let's talk about the hardest type of barking to fix, the barking that happens when you're not there. This is where most owners feel helpless, because how do you correct something you don't see? The answer is simple but powerful. You don't fix alone time barking when you leave. You fix it before you ever walk out the door. Most separation barking is rooted in anxiety, not disobedience. Your dog isn't being bad. Your dog is panicking. So punishment will never solve this. What works is predictability and calm routines. Here's how you start. First, stop making departures emotional. No long goodbyes, no dramatic hugging, no sad voices. Calm leaving creates calm dogs. Before you leave, give your dog something that occupies both the mouth and the brain. A frozen Kong, a lick mat, a safe chew. Licking and chewing release calming chemicals in the brain. This instantly reduces stress. Now, here's the next step most people miss. Practice leaving without actually leaving. Pick up your keys, put on your shoes, open the door, then sit back down. Do this multiple times a day. When your dog learns that these cues don't always mean abandonment, anxiety drops. Gradually increase absence time. Start with 10 seconds, then 30 seconds, then a minute. Return calmly, no excitement. This retrains your dog's nervous system. Now, let's talk about barking that happens even when you are home but out of sight. This is often attention-based barking. Your dog barks because it brings you back. To fix this, reward calm independence. When your dog is lying quietly across the room, reward. When they entertain themselves, reward. You're teaching this message. Calm independence is valuable. If barking happens to demand attention, wait for silence, even 2 seconds, then respond. Never reward the bark, only reward the quiet. Now, let's lock everything in. Here's how you turn calm behavior into your dog's default state. Every single day, look for calm moments, not just during barking. Anytime your dog is relaxing, lying quietly, watching instead of reacting, mark it. Calm praise, small treat, gentle touch. Dogs repeat what gets rewarded. Finally, let's talk about one mistake that ruins progress: inconsistency. If barking works even once, your dog will try again. Training isn't about perfection, it's about patterns. Be calm, be predictable, be consistent. And remember this: a barking dog is not a bad dog, it's a confused one. When you teach your dog how to be calm, they don't just bark less, they feel safer. And a safe dog is a quiet dog.